Okay, welcome back to Recreational Runners. I'm James, the recreational runner, and today I've got the pleasure of being joined by Simon Jackson, who's a member of the running club that I've been in for the past 8 years, Fairlands Valley Spartans in Stevenage. And one of the things I love about our running club is its majority of the people are people like me, middle of the pack, back of the pack type runners, recreational runners. But we've got plenty of people like Simon as well, who I personally would class as an elite runner, an elite club runner. He's smiling, so he may be a little bit too modest. But Simon, the reason I brought him on is because it's great to see perspective from someone that's at the front of the pack, winning races and doing lots of amazing stuff. But Simon is also about to do, in July, an epic challenge. He's looking to break the Guinness World Record for an Indoor Ironman. Now, I don't know much about that, and we're going to ask Simon more about it. But I'm going to hand over to you, Simon, to just do an introduction to yourself, please.
Yes, so I'm Simon Jackson from Stevenage. Been a member of Fairlands Valley Spartans like James, probably for 15 years. Never really ran when I was younger. Played a bit of football, bit of cricket. Got a football injury, so I had to stop playing football. Then played cricket, and then sort of getting to sort of a little bit older. I think it's a good idea to try and keep yourself fit by running. So I started running at Spartans. I'll probably tell you a bit more later about my first ever Spartans episode. And yeah, I think I virtually turned up for Stevenage Half Marathon, I think, in the year that it had the marathon. And then I just got into running. And wow. Since relatively raw to start with, I guess. And overall, not a bad runner, really. Still get beaten by lots of people.
Not a bad runner. I'll vouch for that.
Enjoy it though, that's the main thing.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting because it's a similar kind of history to me, except you're way better. But I think we're going to get into that because you're super dedicated to your training. I can tell. I follow you on Strava. Obviously, I've been around you in lots of races over the years. You've got a family. You've got 2 children, haven't you? And you've got a wife and a job. How do you, I mean, you're really committed to training. How often a week, if you're not doing, even if you're not doing an epic challenge like this, which we'll get into the specifics of that in a minute, but what's your normal kind of training week look like?
Yeah. So probably about 4 years ago, I did my first Ironman. And I got on a training plan then. So 4 years ago, I started on it. And I was probably training 6 days a week, most weeks. And that would be a mixture of, at the time, swimming, cycling and running. But with always more of a love for running. So as soon as someone from the club said, "Do you fancy a run?" it was go out for the run sort of thing.
Yeah.
But when lockdown started, I thought, well, whilst I could, I'm going to keep running. So I just got into a habit of running every single day and sort of running about 8-10 miles a day sort of thing. And nothing overly fast, but just ticking over. And it was just something new that I tried. And luckily stayed injury free. But then it's pretty lucky that I've been running for lots of years rather than just going to start running every day overnight sort of thing.
Yeah.
So a normal week could involve probably 3 or 4 bike sessions, mostly indoor at the moment, and then probably 3 or 4 runs. But in the past, I would probably be swimming twice a week as well on top of that when I was Ironman training.
Wow. So that's a couple of things a day sometimes as well then.
Yes. So what I tend to find, so getting up early in the morning, I've just found is the easiest way to train. So I set my alarm, normally 4:45 in the morning. Everything's ready. Even the water's in the kettle so I can have a coffee. Breakfast might be already made. But all the kit's downstairs, so I don't have an excuse to click sleep on the alarm or not do it. So I just get out, get the bike done at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be back inside normally about 6. Alternatively, if I go for a run, I'll probably still get up at the same time, but probably leave about 5:30, just so I can have a quick bite to eat. Because I tend to find it's a little bit harder to run on a bit of food in you rather than cycle.
Yeah.
And then get home and the day starts.
So that is your pure dedication. That's what I was going to touch on. I'm absolutely useless. I've got up at 5:30 a couple of times over the years, but I've never been able to do it consistently. And I guess your trick there is putting the stuff downstairs, right, and not hitting snooze on the alarm. But it's also you've got that dedication, that passion to always improve yourself, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, I think getting older, I'm now 44. So realistically, I probably shouldn't get better. But recently, late last year, did a 10K PB, did a half marathon PB back in February. March, sorry, I should say.
What is your PB for half marathon? Just to put it in perspective to my usual viewers.
So I did 1 hour, 14 minutes, a couple of seconds.
1 hour 14. So that's a full 29 minutes faster than my PB 4 years ago. So that's what I mean. When I'm in the middle of the pack, well, I was in the middle of the pack, I'm more back of the pack. Simon's at the front there winning the races. So that's amazing.
Yeah, no, and I think, so I still think every race I do, I aim to improve, which as you get older is harder. I mean, sometimes you don't do it by a couple of seconds, then you throw in your age-graded time to make yourself feel better. But yeah, I still always think there's a chance to PB. Because I think once you give up totally on that, it's so much harder to run, I would expect.
Yeah, no, I'm looking to do a PB on a half marathon again, but I've got to learn from you and get a bit more dedicated. Definitely. You touched on injuries. You've been running properly for 15 years. You're running most days. For me, whenever I increase my training, I do tend to pick up niggles and stuff, but it's probably because I'm not doing anything else to support that. Do you do? I mean, obviously you're doing swimming and biking, which is brilliant, all round cross training, I guess. Is there anything specific you do for strength and stability to support your running?
I'd like to say yes, I do lots, but I don't really. I think over time I've had the odd niggle here and there, sort of twisted an ankle, doing something silly, or fallen off a bike and got some grazes and that sort of thing. But touch wood, I've been really lucky. But I think I would probably take it back that I've always, so when I did my first few marathons, I was probably only running 3 times a week.
Right.
So I wasn't getting any repetition injuries.
Yeah.
But you see lots of people that sort of are running 2 or 3 times a week and then instantly up it to 5 or 6 times a week. And to me, that's just a recipe for an injury, really.
Yeah.
And I remember someone telling me years ago, and they sort of said, don't increase your mileage by more than 10% a week.
I was going to say 10%.
Don't increase your speed by 10%. Just real marginal increases each week. And especially nowadays when you enter a race, London Marathon or any marathon you get into, you probably know 6 months in advance you're in it. So it's not as if you've got to train it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think it's really a case of building up to it slowly. But going back to your original question, what do I do at the moment? A guy at work said he was doing press-ups each morning. So I started doing some press-ups at home, and with the aim to get to 50, and I just can't get past 45. So that's my aim to get to, without stopping.
Without stopping, yeah, that's good.
Without stopping. And then a couple of years back, a guy at Spartans did a plank challenge. And if you Google it online, there's a 30-day plank challenge.
Right.
And you start with 10 seconds and you build it up to 5 minutes by the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for the last couple of months to give you a bit of core strength as well.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Which again, I think a plank is pretty all mental in the brain.
Yeah.
Rather than body-wise. So I've been doing a bit of that. And I tend to spend most nights or mornings cleaning my teeth, standing on one leg, trying to get more strength and stability in my legs. Just a very easy little bit of training, really. That's to build more strength.
There's some really good tips in there. So to summarise, the 10% rule is a key one, definitely. Anyone who's watching this, don't go mad. I've done it. I did the Red January challenge, and I went from 2 times a week, in fact 2 runs in December, to running every day, and I picked up a niggle. It happens to everyone. So yeah, I mean, solid advice there, Simon. It's just build it up slowly. But the thing you said about brushing your teeth, I really like that as well, because when I'm always trying to find ways to do things when you're going about your usual day, and I sometimes do calf raises while I'm brushing my teeth, because I just find that's something you can do. And I sometimes do squats when I'm in the bathroom doing something else. before or after, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're top tips. It's like getting that stability and kind of strength training in as and when you can, especially with you training so much, like so early in the morning and sometimes twice a day. That's super impressive. I don't know if you covered there in your intro, what motivated you to run. Was there anything particular that motivated you to start running, or was it just pure fitness thing?
No, I think it was probably a fitness thing, and pre-kids, no disrespect to my wife or whatever, you had loads of spare time, and you could go out for a run when you wanted to, and it didn't really matter too much. But obviously now it's a little bit harder with kids. But I think when I joined Spartans, like most other running clubs, there's a good group of people around your speed, whether you're at the front of the pack or the middle or at the back. And I just got into a stage where you started finding friends at the club, running with people at the club. You then train with them at the weekends or a session in the week. And you didn't want them to go ahead of you, really. Because then all of a sudden you lose your training partners.
Yeah.
And I've run with obviously Andy Patterson, who you know, and we ran together on Sunday. Just keep motivated, really.
Brilliant.
I think also as well, I'd say is that I enjoy training. I don't think I could train for the amount of hours a week I do if I didn't enjoy the training.
Yeah.
But then as people have always said, if you train hard, race easy, and it gives you more of a chance to do what you want to do in your race or your event that you're planning to do in the year, sort of thing.
Awesome. Are there any little mental things or mind games or things to distract you from training? Do you listen to music, for example, or any little tips and tricks when you're doing a hard session and you know it's going to be mentally tough?
Yeah, I never run with music, ever.
No, me neither.
I quite like the idea of hearing the world go by, hearing the odd aeroplane go over now, or someone shouting at you out of a car or something.
Which happens a lot in Stevenage.
Absolutely. Get run for us, run quite a lot, but you know, when I run, I don't just try and get my mind on it. When I'm on the bike in the garage, because I take training sessions from a guy called Mark Racher, and triathlon based in Hitchin, and he gives me sessions, and sometimes you are going full out for a minute, 2 minutes, and the only way I can do it then is just put some music in my ears and just go as hard as I can, and that's the only way I can get the motivation for those really hard bits. We have tried to do a couple of Zwift cycles together as a group. That helped as well. But I say running wise, on my own. But I'm happy chatting at pace as well. So we can have quite a fast run, decent effort, but still talk at the same time.
Wow, I'm so jealous of that.
But then it's all about, I say, it's all about enjoyment.
Yeah.
If I didn't enjoy running or training, I wouldn't do it. And I think that's the thing is, and sort of going back to what you said, getting yourself out running, I think the problem is a lot of people as well often haven't run for a while. They then go and run half an hour and their body's shattered for 3 or 4 days after. The niggle comes back. But again, I don't know who said it to me, but why don't you just walk for 20 minutes first time? I think you've done something before, haven't you? Where you just do 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and you get back quicker and fitter that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm preaching on my channel. I don't want to go into me. This is about you. But yeah, it's just the low heart rate stuff I'm kind of following. I think you mentioned to me actually on a text message a while back about math as well.
Yes.
Is that same as Dr. Phil Maffetone, or is that just a coincidence? Yeah. Cool, because I've just bought his book. I remembered that you said that, and I've been playing around with heart rate running for a while, and I've realised I'm hovering around 150, and I should really be at 140. So I picked up his book, so I remembered you texted me that, and I've only read the first chapter. It literally arrived just before the weekend, and it's just made me go slower. So I'm now really concentrating on getting back down to staying at 140, and it just feels so alien. It feels like I'm barely jogging, but apparently patience and time and building that 10% a week and everything, you'll start to see better long-term benefits. But let's not go into me.
What you're talking about, Matt, is that, and I haven't read the whole book, so you'll know more than me in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But the bit I liked about it was that it's 180 minus your heart, minus your age.
Yeah.
Then if it fits, you can then add on a bit more.
Yeah, you can add and subtract if you've got a cold and bits and bobs like that as well. Yeah.
But what he said was that I liked was, he said if you're doing a heart rate of about 140, give or take, that is your optimum ability to run. So as soon as you get above that, you start losing your running style.
Yeah.
And then probably below that, you're doing some silly things you don't normally do anyway.
Yeah.
So I did my Ironman last year. That was a pretty consistent heart rate, was around that sort of thing. And I haven't really looked so much this time because I've been probably going a bit slower. But like I say, it's just trying to keep some good sort of quality sort of style whilst running as much as you can.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to Andy on Sunday when we were running, and he's coaches an athlete, and basically the athlete wanted to go quicker, but his main aim at the moment was just to lose weight as well. And he said, take it back a step, you want to get into fat burning level rather than the aerobic level. And I thought, what a great thing to say. His runner is trying to go faster, sort of thing, but he's saying no, go slower to get himself fit and also to help lose the weight as well.
Apparently it does, doesn't it? Because it teaches your body to use fat as fuel because you're going longer and slower rather than grabbing the quick kind of energy. So that's what I'm hoping as well, because that's my problem. I'm about 2 stone heavier than when I did my half marathon PB 4 years ago. So I'm just going to do the tortoise style for a bit and see what happens. Keep vlogging it on my channel. You're also you're in a tri club still as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So what got you into triathlons in the first place?
So back in 2004, I think it was, I had a friend who decided he was going to do about 8 triathlons in the year to raise money for a cancer charity because he'd had a loss. And I said, I'll do the last one with him. So he did 0 of them, didn't even do the last one. and I'd entered Clacton Triathlon in the North Sea. I was borrowed a wetsuit off somebody a week before. I ran in a really rubbish t-shirt, Cambridge United football shorts. Didn't even have a tri kit or anything. It was a bit of a joke, and I'd never sea swam before. The waves were huge, and I did it, and I quite enjoyed it.
Oh, well
and then
done.
I sort of, as you do, as I said before, I got back into running a bit more. And then a few years later, I gave it another go. And I think the beauty of the Tri Club I'm a member of, which is Freedom Tri,
That's it.
in there in Letchworth, but they never stopped me running for my running club. And I led to believe other triathlon clubs say you have to race for them. I've done it in the past. But they always let you cycle with your cycle club, run with your running club, or swim with your swimming club.
Oh, that's really nice.
And it was a bit like Spartans as well, where it's about participation.
Yeah.
And it's not an elite level triathlon club. They've got a load of people that do age group triathlons or Ironman or whatever it could be. But it's all about getting everybody involved and getting numbers in races. And it's probably no coincidence that both clubs that I've joined, I've got so many good friends out of them because they're just a really good bunch of people.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's the participation, isn't it? And I think you probably haven't noticed it going out so early in the morning, but since lockdown, there's been a lot more people taking up cycling and running. I guess you don't see the lockdown runners at 4:45 in the morning, though, or if it's raining.
I think the beauty of lockdown has been whether people are walking, whether they're running, they're jogging, going out as a family. And there's a guy I see in the morning who walks his dog, and he walks very fast to the dog, and now he's jogging every day with it. Brilliant. So over the lockdown, he's gone from being a walker to a jogger.
Yeah.
And you see people now going out with friends, running together. Actually, it's brilliant. It's to say you just hope going forward that with the recreational runners, that's what most people are. Yeah. And it's not about park runs or whatever. It's just getting out and doing a jog with their friends, it'll be, which would be brilliant.
Exactly. No, that's definitely one of the big positives. I know there's lots of negatives. We won't get into that, but it is a huge positive. People getting outside and enjoying themselves. So we're on triathlon. I don't really know much about it. I know there's all different types of triathlon as well, isn't there? There's sprint triathlon and Olympic. And can you give us a quick overview of what you got into and what you do mainly now? And if you don't mind segueing then into what an Ironman normally is as well.
Yeah. So triathlons, they have sort of three main distances, I'd say. A sprint triathlon, which it will involve a sort of 750 metre swim, a 20k bike, and then a 5k run.
Right. So I could probably do that.
Hour and 10 minutes, hour and 40 minutes for the majority of people probably to get a race done, sort of thing. So short, sharp, start early o'clock in the morning. Okay. The Olympic is twice the distance.
Right.
So,
okay.
And then you then start going into sort of what's often called a half Ironman or an Ironman, but Ironman's a brand really. Okay. So it's really a middle distance triathlon and a long course triathlon really, but the Ironman's just their brand of it. So you have other firms that do long course races, but you go up to an Ironman, which is a 3.8 kilometre swim, 112 mile bike, and I always compare it from my door in Stevenage to Stonehenge is bang on 112 miles. Right. So it gets you an idea of how far you're cycling.
And that's probably taken in a few hills and in that kind of distance as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Most triathlons, Ironmans, they don't make easy. They don't make them deadpan flat.
Yeah.
They want to make it hard. And then with a marathon or 26.2 miles at the end of them.
A run marathon at the end. It's just crazy. And so how many of those have you done now?
I've done two. My wife told me I could never do a second one. And then did a second one last year. And then she told me I'm never doing another Ironman race. So this year I decided not to do an Ironman race, but do an Ironman type event. So,
go on. Sorry,
all I was to say, I think that once you get into them, it's hard to not keep going with them.
Yeah.
And the only thing with Ironman races, Ironman branded races, are race entries expensive.
Right.
So 500 odd quid minimum. But then if you go in somewhere, you need flights, accommodation, parking at the airports.
Yeah.
Putting your bike on the aeroplane.
Plus you need a decent bike as well, right? They're not cheap.
Yeah. No, I could do with a lot better bike because I've got a second-hand bike at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think with triathlon, I think because a lot of people are 40 years old-ish that do it, you see some of the bikes and they're amazing. You see the helmets, they spend hundreds on them. The wheels are more expensive than the car that's sitting outside our house. It's just it's ridiculous. But that's what I guess people do at that age when their kids have perhaps grown up a little bit and getting on with things. But it's ridiculous.
Is that the main reason why your wife doesn't want you to do more, or is it the training and the money?
I think probably I think she thinks I push myself a lot with my training.
Oh, okay. So she's worried about you as well. That's good.
She was worried about me. Yeah, surprisingly. But when like I say, last summer I was going out on the bike for a 5-hour cycle, and I would quite often go Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Bedfordshire.
Bloody hell.
And I tried not to go too far from the house, just in case you get an issue with the bike.
Yeah.
But 100 miles round the area, you can go quite a long way. And so she would I say if I went out 4:30 in the morning, she would worry about me. Wouldn't sleep.
No, that makes sense.
So that's the beauty of this year, because all my training's been inside.
Yeah.
And I've not been out on the bike bar around the block with the kids. So it's the only time I've been on my bike this year.
Wow. So if you're going for a 5-hour bike ride, did you take a phone with you just in case you do get into some strife?
Oh, without a doubt. I say Yeah, I always carry a phone on me, and I would always carry money on me as well.
Okay.
Just because, and also sort of inner tubes, pumps,
Yeah.
tools, because the last thing you want to do is, if you are quite away from home, is have to phone home and say, "Can I have a lift home, please?"
Yeah. Because then you're in trouble for that as well.
It's only happened once where I had to ask Vicky for a lift home, but the wheel just got stuck, and I was borrowing someone's wheel, and I just couldn't get it working again, so I just couldn't risk it, so had to phone home.
Oh man, I'm just in awe to the amount of stuff you do, the distances you do, the times you do it. It's amazing. But let's get into the challenge. So it's an indoor Ironman. So obviously that's because of lockdown. You can't go and do a race, etc. But there's a rowing machine instead of a swim, right? So well, first of all, why did you decide to do it? What made you want to do this challenge?
Well, it was interesting. Back in November, I had a random phone call from Jake Amos, who works at Garden House Hospice.
Yeah.
And he runs Hitchy and Hare's running club. And he just rang me up and just asked, he said, "Simon, did an Ironman. What time did you do for your bike?" And I went, "About 5 hours." And he went, "That's good." He said, "Would you be interested in trying to break a world record?" I went, what do you mean? And he then sort of said, "Well, I've got this plan that next summer that I would like to try and break for the Garden House Hospice the Indoor Ironman World Record." And I went, yeah, of course I'm interested. Didn't really expect to hear much of it. When he started asking me about, do you know any other people that are fast on the bike, male or female, and gave him some names. And then in January, we started having proper conversations. And this was all pre-lockdown. So we all agreed to it. We wrote off the Guinness World Records. You have to do it 3 months in advance without paying them for additional monies. So we had to keep it quiet for months. Couldn't tell anybody. The family knew, and that was about it. And then probably about once it was in March. It was just as lockdown was just about to start.
Yeah,
came out into the open. So it's an Ironman distance event, but it's rowing for 3.8 kilometres instead of cycling it. And so the previous world record, which was done in, I think, 2012 by, I think it was actually done at the Hart Sports Village, I think.
Yeah, there's a guy in Watford, wasn't it? I looked it up. John Cowell, was it, in Watford?
Yeah.
15th of May.
Yeah. So he did it back then. Seeing the bike, he smashed the bike and did 3 hours 55.
Wow. And just remind me what that distance is. 180 kilometres.
180 kilometres, 112 miles. So his bike time 3:55. That is faster than a pro triathlete. So he's done brilliantly on that. And so he set me the challenge. Well, he hasn't set me, but I'm taking up the challenge to try and break 8 hours 24 for the whole event. So it's sort of all this year I've been training for it, but had plans to do London Marathon first of all, which obviously got cancelled. And then thereafter, but since that finished, my main focus has been on that. But I had been training all the cycling training I was meant to be doing before, and I started rowing a little bit in February, once or twice a week, because fun enough, as a runner, I've got zero muscles in my arms, which until I watched a video today, I found out that I think it's only 10% of your rowing's in your arms.
Yeah, it's in the kind of legs, isn't it? Upper legs.
Yeah, legs and hips, I think it is.
Hips, yeah.
But and luckily 3 weeks ago, I got someone lent me a rowing machine, which was really kind of them. Susie from Spartans lent me a running machine, which luckily I haven't had to use because I've still been able to go outside. And it's been brilliant. But people have just
gathered around
that. So someone from Freedom lent me a fan. this guy messaged me today about tips about rowing from the clubs. And it's just amazing how people come together and offer things for you. And I would happily pay for things, but people say, no, I'd like to do it for you because I know what
definitely.
you're doing, challenge sort of thing.
You're doing an amazing challenge. So you've only had the rowing machine for 3 weeks, though. When's the challenge? July
in 3.5 weeks. So July the 11th.
6 weeks of row training. You'll be fine. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, my only slight worry is it's from a gym. And I read today that gyms are allowed to open again on the 4th of July.
Oh, they might want it back, you mean?
They might want it back a week before the race.
No, they can't have it back. I'm sure they'll be all right with that. I'm sure. So is there, around the world records, did he do a row rather than a swim, the John Cowell guy?
Yes, he did, yes. So the actual world record, this is specific indoor and it has to be done rowing. So there was a pro triathlete in lockdown who tried to do a Ironman. He swam in his garden, sort of with a rope behind him. I saw that.
Yes, is it a guy called Jan Frodeno?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. I was trying to do a bit of research after work earlier, but I only watched a few minutes. We had some kind of machine that's blowing a current in the swimming pool, and he's swimming into the current, right?
I think what he probably did was, there's a lot of people have tied themselves up with a bit of a band around them, and they then tie it to their house or somewhere which can't move. And I'm assuming that then he knows how many strokes a minute he does, or his watch may have told him, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or he may have just said, I'll do it for 50 minutes because that's how long it takes me to swim in normally.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so he did that. So this is a specific event. This is a world record. So I'm sure the professional triathletes could take it off John Cowell or myself, whatever it's going to be. But it's brilliant fun, and just getting so many people that I know
for such a long time as well. It's amazing that that record's there since 2012. So when you beat it, because you're going to beat it, definitely, I've got faith in you. It's going to be amazing. Are there loads of little rules and regulations that you've got to record it? Or I guess no one from Guinness World Records is actually going to physically be there, no? Or
so what we did, we obviously told them we're looking to do it. We've got a lady called Tony Fenton who's from Freedom Tri, who's a qualified BTF, British Triathlon Federation referee.
Oh, okay.
And she's going to be there all day long. So she will be the official timekeeper with I guess the plans of every 10 minutes or 10 kilometres or whatever it could be, he's recording how far I've done. But it will be recorded the whole time. So there is evidence that I did it, which is the most important thing. Yeah. But last Sunday, we went to SG1 Radio Studios in Stevenage, and they said to us we could use their studios. Oh, so nice. They're now going to be doing a radio show. So you know Jay Jackford.
Yeah.
He's at 7:30 in the morning, going to start doing a radio show until 4:30 in the afternoon. When I've got the world record. And so the last couple of days it's been quite mad, sort of speaking to people from local clubs, friends, local people, to get people to go on a radio show for 9 hours during the day sort of thing.
That's epic. So you actually physically doing it in the studio, the bike, the row and everything?
Yeah, in their studio. So they've got some new studios in Stevenage Town Centre. Wow. And so where they do the shows, you can see from where I'll be doing it. There's a stage that I'll be on. And people will probably be, I guess with the current lockdown type rules, it's glass on the outside, so people will be able to come down and watch. And I say, anybody that comes to watch, I'll just be so pleased to get people down there to support me. Yeah. But we sort of hoped in a way that it would be nice for people to run alongside me on a separate treadmill. Or a bike.
That's a great idea.
But we think the problem really is just going to be it's just having people around in an indoor area.
Yeah.
That you just can't keep bringing people in to do it.
That's true.
So instead we're looking at, could we sort of have people outside on the bike, outside on a running machine, and get kids involved as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking at that sort of thing really.
Keep me posted.
I will do, definitely, yeah. Definitely would do.
because the offer stands. Sorry, I keep talking over you. Go on.
You can definitely come and have a chat as well on the radio station if you like, and
yeah, for sure.
talk about recreational runner.
yeah.
Brilliant.
As I said, like I said to you in the event you put in Facebook, if you want anyone with camera equipment, I'm happy to record it. Obviously, for my channel, I'd love to be able to do something to kind of give a highlight reel of you doing it, to put on my channel anyway, and then for you to keep. So happy to do that. Definitely.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm excited. So sorry, say the date again. It's July the
11th.
July the 11th.
It'll be starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. So with the thoughts, roughly the row will take me 16 minutes, I reckon.
Yeah.
Jump onto the bike pretty quickly. Then we can get rid of the rowing machine for the rest of the day. Then I'll probably be on the bike for 4 hours 35, possibly, if everything goes to plan. So I'll come off the bike just before 5 hours, and then I've only got to run a marathon in sub 3:25 or whatever.
I'm getting hot and sweaty just thinking about this. It's crazy. So, are you allowed to take on nutrition? You're obviously allowed to take on water and stuff, and people take on nutrition during this kind of event anyway, don't they? So that's a silly question, James. But have you got a plan for that?
Yeah. So the plan will be is that we'll have everything I need on a table next to me.
Yeah.
We're not entirely sure what the rules are about taking stuff off people. So my thoughts are is I'll have enough energy drink. I eat when I cycle. Because I'm doing it indoors, I've been sort of having some porridge and just having a couple of mouthfuls every 10 minutes.
Yeah. And
like I said, Tony Fenton, who's a race referee, she said to me that she's been doing a food plan for me, and she's been giving me muesli bars, flapjacks to try as well. So I've been eating them on the bike. But I made a mistake on Saturday on the bike. I didn't have any water.
Oh, wow.
So I had loads of energy drink, but I just needed water.
Right.
I was 4.5 hours, give or take, cycle. I had to text my son, who's 9, who I knew would be up at 7 in the morning, to bring me some water out.
God.
So, but yeah, then on the run, it'll be pretty similar to what you do in a running race, really.
Yeah.
Water, energy drink, energy gels. And weirdly, when I did my Ironman last year, I quite like bananas on the run.
Oh, okay.
And I sort of found if you just add a little bit, sort of that sort of size, sort of finger length size, then you just have a bit and just keep running straight after.
Yeah.
And it was just getting the food in you, I guess, because your body's telling you needs food rather than just gels the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. I've never done more than a marathon, and I think I did 6 gels, and my stomach was already not happy. And I trained with that as well. And I guess your nutrition plan, you're training with it at the minute, so you get used to it. You've got a proper food plan and everything, so that's the right way to do it, isn't it? You can't go into an event and just eat stuff you haven't really practiced with, I guess.
Yeah. I think the thing is that probably everyone talks when you do the marathon that they hit the wall at 18 or 20 miles.
Yeah.
But the more I think about nutrition when you race, it's because you haven't eaten enough or drunk enough, and your energy is just depleting. And that's what I'm pretty sure, if I fail with the Ironman, unless I get injured, it will be a case of because my nutrition wasn't right and I hadn't eaten enough, and my body was just running out of energy.
Yeah.
But luckily, it's not like you're running around the countryside on your own at home.
Yeah.
I should have enough food, drink near me that I could top up with, sort of thing.
Yeah, fail's not in the agenda there, Simon. Don't mention that word. Positive attitude. You're going to smash this. I can just feel it. It's, just to reiterate, we're going to be rowing 3.86 kilometres. Then you're going to be cycling 180.25 kilometres. And then running 42.2 kilometres. Yeah. That's epic. And the reason you're doing it is for Garden House Hospice. Is that right? So we need to give a big plug for them. Well, I'll put a link in the bottom of my video anyway with a link to you've got a Just Giving page, is that right?
I've got a Just Giving page, yeah.
Cool.
Which is, justgiving.com /Ironman World Record.
Perfect. I'll put that in the description. Yeah, perfect. I've donated, so I should have it in my favourites somewhere. So yes, anyone who's watching this is an epic challenge. It's a Guinness World Record. It's an Ironman. It's an indoor Ironman. It's just epic. And if you're watching this and you're not thinking about donating, what's wrong with you? Come on, we've got to support Simon as best we can. Get people down there if we can, socially distanced. But you're obviously arranging that. I won't broadcast that out to everybody to turn up in Stevenage because that would be silly. So don't do that. But I'm just in awe. I'm just in awe that you're going to be doing this, and I can't wait until you're a new world record holder. I'll be able to say I know a Guinness World Record holder.
You've interviewed a record holder before he did it.
Yeah.
But even if people can't get there, it's going to be. So the plan was 6 months ago. We were talking about Facebook Live or such thing, but now we've got Zoom that we're on at the moment. But SG1 Radio are going to put it on their radio lead all day long.
Where do SG1 broadcast nationwide?
Yeah, so you can get it on DAB locally. You can get it in TuneIn Radio, or you can get it via their Facebook page as well, or Alexa. So,
I'll grab a link to their website because I'm sure it's all detailed on there on their Facebook page, and I'll put that on this video as well. So if you want to tune in to the radio station and watch this epic man do this epic challenge, that'll be great. I'm thinking about it. If I can come down and I can be there and you're all right with it, I might YouTube live it. I could just put my camera plugged in and stick it on YouTube live as well. Oh, cool. So, right, we've got the event. We've got the Just Giving page. Everyone's going to sponsor you. Last few questions I just wanted to ask you, just generally about your running. You are also a run leader at Felons Valley Spartans, right? How did that come? How long have you done that, and what got you into it, and what do you like about it or don't like about it?
Yeah, I think it's one of these things when you join a running club, you get relatively selfish. You turn up to training and you just do your training session, chat to your friends and go home on a training night, really. Then I sort of realised that within the faster group there wasn't as many leaders for it. And I sat and thought it's probably about time you should put something back into the club. Because I'll always do the cross-country races, midweek leagues, everything to support the club, but I thought I should actually look to sort of lead in the running group on a Tuesday night. So it must have been 18 months ago now. I decided to do the running leaders course. Absolutely brilliant. I can't. You've done it, haven't you, James?
Yeah. About 4 years.
And I think for a one-day course, it's absolutely brilliant. And if you run with a running club, I can't recommend it enough. It's just a really good day. It's not so much about making. I think lots of people do coaching courses to make themselves better, but this is just how you can lead a group. And then, if you wanted to thereafter, you could then do the coaching course. But I really enjoyed it. And now in our group, we've probably got 4 guys who lead a group and a couple of females in the faster group. So we've now got a really good mixture of leaders and coaches. But the good thing is everyone's different. So everyone has a different style. They take us on different routes. So once we come out of isolation, we look forward to getting back out there and running with the club again. Because definitely why you run the club.
I miss it as well. And you hit the nail on the head. I didn't do the leader in running fitness course to become a coach or anything like that. It was just, like you said, to give something back and enjoy doing that because it's all run by volunteers. The whole club is run by volunteers. And most running clubs are, as far as I'm aware. And you need those people to kind of help out because not the same handful of people want to go out every Tuesday and Thursday and lead groups every week. Sometimes you don't want to lead. You just want to concentrate on yourself, don't you? So you need that rotation of people. So I was happy to throw my hat in the ring to do that. And that's pretty much where my channels come from, is people asking you questions and you realise and you give them a little bit of advice just with my basic knowledge and they learn from it and you go, oh, well, that's a nice feeling. You're helping someone out. If you help 1 or 2 people out, it's great. And that's what it's all about. And what I wanted to say there actually as well is the running club, you hit the nail on the head. In your little group at the front end is full of different people, but our running club's huge. It's got 360, 380 odd members, and it's people in their 60s, 70s years old, older in fact. that are just out doing their fitness and they've been running for years. There's people like you breaking world records, and there's a whole plethora of people in the middle. But Simon, out at the front, you're one of those people that even before you became a run leader, you're always willing to help other people. You're super approachable, one of the nicest people I know in the club. And that's what's really nice. The club's got a real kind of family friendly feeling about it. And there's so many different coaches and runners of different experiences and triathletes and everything, that it just makes it feel really good, doesn't it? So anyone watching, that if you're not in a running club and you've just got into running because of lockdown and stuff, I would definitely recommend looking up your local running club because of all the reasons we just said, really.
Interestingly, the first time I turned up to the Spartans, I remember it was 15 years ago, and I turned up in a baggy pair of tracksuit bottoms and a jumper. And I remember running up Gresley Way in Stevenage, which we don't run up anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing people run up there when I used to be driving home from work.
And I remember Steve Smithson, who's still part of the club, had a go at me because I was talking whilst running, and he told me I could run faster if I was talking. And I nearly never came back. And it was, and I think it's nothing against Steve, because he was so joking about it. But it proves how close you can be to joining the running club and then giving up the following day.
That's a very good point.
And I think now when you see people that join a running club or running group of any sort, people just let them in and welcome them. And that's what happened with Spartans. And wherever your recreational runners live, just try a running club.
Yeah,
you can probably go along 5 or 6 times and not pay anything, and then decide if you like it or not.
And even if you do have to pay, it's not much normally. I mean, we pay 40 something quid, and we're UK Athletics affiliated as well, included in that. So we get discounts on races if you end up going into races in the future. So not all clubs are, so it'd be a bit cheaper. But if they are UK Athletics affiliated, you got that benefit too, and you get discounts off kit and shops and stuff as well, don't you? All over the place. So it's a great hobby just to open your front door, go out, be part of the club, and really progress. Definitely. But you hit the nail on the head. There could be something that happens. I remember my first time, and I just walked into the Marriott's as it was when I joined, and there was just like 40 people. And I was like, hello, what do I do? Kind of thing. I was super nervous. I didn't know what I was doing. And I think I went up to Paul Holgate and said, what do I do? Where do I go? And he was really nice, and he advised me, and he introduced me to the leader that was in like group 4 or whatever it was, then one of the slower groups, and said, you're probably best. They base it on if you've run a 5K or a 10K distance recently. But if you haven't, they can still give you advice anyway. So yeah, it's interesting. But the thing, I've said this on my channel before as well, and you said it a bit earlier, it's wanting to keep up with the people when you're in a running club and you're going out doing a session. I found for 5 years, I was always trying to keep up with someone. So I attacked every session, every running club session. I was always going moderate to high intensity. And I think that's where I started to pick up too many injuries too frequently. As soon as I entered a race and then stepped up my training a bit more, I was still going too fast. And that's why I'm now doing the low heart rate stuff. So you just have to be disciplined is the only thing I'd say if you join a running club, to know your own limits and stick to your own plan. Even if a coach is telling you, don't talk, you should be running faster, go, no, today I'm talking because that's what my plan is.
And I think that's hard when you lead in a group. I've found it is you're trying to push people on as much as they can because you know they want to get themselves better. But you don't know what their training plan says for that day.
Exactly.
And I've always said it, regardless whether you've only just started running or you're a seasoned runner, you want to get better, and that's why you go to a running club.
Yeah.
And everybody likes a chat, without a doubt. But you're going along because you want to improve at the same time and park run PB or whatever it could be.
Yeah. No, brilliant. So the last thing I just wanted to check with you, outside of triathlons, what's your favourite running distance and race?
Great question. That's a brilliant question. I think I quite like a 5K, which is really weird when I do long races.
I hate 5K.
Is my as a distance wise, I think that's my preferred race.
Wow.
I did do a 400 meters around the track once. I remember Tessa at the club. I it was the hardest race I've ever done in my life for any reason. But if 5K is my very favourite distance, but probably favourite race runner has to be London Marathon.
Really?
I think it is the best race in the world.
How many times have you done it? You've done it a few, haven't you?
I've probably done it 4 or 5 times.
Nice.
I've sort of run it first time when I just joined the club. I'd then run with Andy one year. We ran together. I hadn't really trained that much, really. We ran together at the time. And then I've tried to race it. But I still would say, of the marathons I've done, I've probably had as many bad marathons as I've had good ones. And I think if you're pushing yourself, you will have a marathon where you end up walking, unfortunately. Yeah. And it's frustrating. So London's my favourite race. But I have to say, I as a running club, we have a midweek league where we have 4 or 5 local races against other clubs. But to me, they're brilliant. Love them, because you run your race, you virtually get to the finish line, then you start jogging back to start clapping people in.
Yeah. You're always one of the best at that as well.
And I love it. And it's so good seeing people trying to beat someone from another running club who they've never met before, never going to see ever again, but it's their biggest achievement of their life, beating them over the last 50 meters.
Yeah. And then you see them at the next one, though, and they try and beat you. That's the trouble. Yeah. But no, you're right. That is a great event. So on the marathons, I've only done one, and I ended up doing exactly what you just said, which is running for the back half, because I absolutely blew up in spectacular style. Yeah. But I was talking to another YouTuber the other day about, I think I've heard it takes 4 or 5 marathons before you learn how to do your best marathon. Would you agree with that, or was it 2 or 3 for you?
Yeah, I would say it takes a few, because I think the problem is in your mind, you think you can do a certain pace.
Yeah.
And pick a number out there. You want to do an 8-minute mile marathon. You then go off and you sort of think, well, I'll bank a minute, then I'll bank another minute, then you bank another minute. Or even if you're only taking seconds off, you just add minutes on at the end.
Yeah.
And I think it might be Chris Lee, Stephen Striders, who said you take off seconds in the early part and add minutes on at the end.
Yeah.
And I think once you learn sort of to go off at a sensible pace.
The art of the negative split, isn't it? Which is so mentally hard to do for people.
And I think you want to bank some time. And I think, like I say, often the nutrition's not right. And you put the two together, and hence the reason why people say you hit the wall, because you get to 80. I've done it at 16 miles before, where you just work it out. You times 10 by how many minutes you want to do per mile, and you go, I can't do it now. What you wanted to do, and it's game over, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I know that spectacularly in a London Marathon. The only one I've done, and I'm still going to say my big excuse, is the hottest one on record, and I'm rubbish in the heat. And I decided to go, I think, just 30 seconds slower than what I thought I needed to, but really I should have got a full minute per mile slower in that heat on that day. So yeah, I think I got 14 or 15 miles, and I was walking after that. But anyway, we won't talk about that. I said I'd never do one again, but I think I want to now, because I've just got to make amends to that terrible day.
I think, I know lots of people did it last year. It was baking hot.
Yeah.
And everyone took 10 seconds off, or whatever it's going to be. Just not enough, really.
No.
And looking back, if you'd taken 20 seconds off a mile at female race, you'd probably done nearer what you wanted.
Yeah.
Because you could have got round the course, or you'd done quicker. But the problem is you think you can do it, and you can't, unfortunately.
Yeah. It just does creep up on you, definitely. Right, so we've chatted for a good long time. I want to finish back on reminding everybody what you're doing. You are going to be a world record holder very soon, July the 11th. Just to remind you, Simon's going to row 3.86 kilometres. He's going to cycle 180.25 kilometres, which is how many miles?
112, just over
112 miles, if you work in miles. And then he's going to run 42.2 kilometres, which is a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. So that's epic. You're doing it for the Garden House Hospice. I'll put your Just Giving link in the video description. and I'll put the Facebook page for the radio station that's going to be broadcasting it live on the day. Is there anything else you want me to add, or anything you want to say to the people watching?
No, I would say at the moment every charity is struggling for money.
True.
I think Garden House said they're losing 25. They're down 25 grand a week. All the races, all the people doing charity races, whether it's London Marathon or their local races, they're not getting the money. All charities aren't. So I know it's a hard time for a lot of people at the moment, but if people have got a couple of pounds, and if people have money in their pockets anymore and want to come down and watch me, and can put a couple of pounds in a pot, I'd just be, and clap me, encourage me, that would just make my day. And I think the support will help me out most on the day than anything else. And even if I see people watching it online or getting some messages before, and any support would just be fantastic. So I really appreciate having the chat with you tonight, James. No,
I appreciate you coming on. It's fantastic. It's a privilege to talk to someone that's doing such an amazing event. I'll just reiterate, like, I know when you're in a running club and you're around the world of running, there's always someone doing something for charity. I've done it myself. I've asked for money for charity a lot. I'll just say to everybody, this is not your average marathon or your average triathlon. This is a world record attempt. So it's worth at least £1, as Simon says. If everyone who watches puts £1 on the Just Giving page, brilliant. And we'll spread the word and everyone puts £1 in. I think it's well worth it. It's a world record attempt, people. World record, come on. Can't say that enough. It's not just a marathon or a half marathon. So yes, please support. It's been an honour having you on, Simon. Thank you very, very much. Cheers, James. And yeah, come down on the day, James. And I say, definitely. Come and have a chat with Jay on the radio station. And you might hope to get a few words from myself as well. So that'd be great to see you on the day. Awesome. We've got to finish with my catchphrase. I don't know if you've watched any of my videos recently, but we always finish with happy running. Love it. You've got to say it too. Happy running. Yeah.